when your own products are your revenue stream, it doesn't matter how big your audience is. It doesn't matter if you have a silver play button or a gold play button, or if you only get 28 views on a video. It doesn't matter because those metrics really aren't tied to those revenue streams. The algorithm is primed to bring them people. You just have to tap into what the algorithm is already primed for on your channel. And you could do that with a few tweaks. I think for me, the missing component of how to get YouTube to generate leads and sales consistently was, well, let's just make the leads and sales part of the equation very similar to the YouTube part of the equation. Instead of going from a 10-minute video to a 60-minute webinar, let's go from a 6-minute video to a 27-minute video. And the gap there is smaller, so it's like it fits that viewer's attention span.
If you want to build a legitimate, profitable online business without shiny objects, without the hypey gimmicks, and without the stress and overwhelm, if you want to make more money without having to be present online all day, every day, pumping out content that nobody sees and hustling DMs to generate leads and sales, then this is the place for you. Welcome to the Digital Trailblazer Podcast, your online business university, where you'll learn how ordinary people start from ground zero with no influence, no email list or audience to sell to, and no business or marketing experience, and go from working 9-to-5 jobs to building successful 6- and 7-figure online businesses and all the steps in between. Learn the strategies that worked and what didn't. Learn the mistakes that they made and how to avoid them, and then learn their plans for scaling their businesses and taking things to the next level. All so that you can build your business faster and easier and make more money without sacrificing the things that are important to you in your life. I'm your host, Leah Ray Getz, and with me is my husband, Todd. Now, let's get to it with today's guest. Welcome, Digital Trailblazers. I'm super excited to have with us Meredith Marsh. Meredith, go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience. Let them know what you're all about.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. Introducing myself. Well, let's see. I'm a content creator on YouTube, an online business owner, and I love helping business owners get on YouTube so that you can automate your revenue, even with a small channel. And there's a lot of misconceptions out there about what it takes to be successful on YouTube. You can have a 6-figure business without having a 6-figure following because of the power of YouTube's algorithm. And I love helping people with that.
We've, honestly, YouTube isn't a big push for us these days, but there have been massive pushes in the past for us on YouTube. We've got videos that we made, and we don't have a massive channel. We've got, I think, 24 or 26,000 subscribers or something like that. But we've pivoted a few too many times on there a little bit. We really have to buckle down and flesh things out a bit further. But even today, when we're not doing more with our podcast goes up there and I live stream regularly, that's about it at this point. And we're still generating high ticket sales out of our YouTube content, some of it from videos from years ago. And they're so ready, credit card in hand. Here's the formality of a call. I'm ready to join your high ticket program. And so there is a lot to be said on putting in the time to really doing YouTube, even though it's not going to be an overnight thing. You're building that asset that can serve your business for years.
Yes, exactly.
That's awesome. So how did you get started in this?
Well, way back in 2014 or something, I actually set out to be a blogger. I saw people writing blogs and I thought, I could probably do something like that. I had a background in web design, so I knew the SEO stuff. And I just sort of navigated my way through what is content creation and content marketing. And I ended up picking a niche, which was how to help people use a GoPro camera. I just did the SEO keyword research and figured out there's a lot of people searching for that and not a whole lot of videos. Not from people like me who are a mom who's just using GoPro as a family camera. It was all surfers and skydivers and stuff like that because it's an action camera. So I just decided to start a blog. I figured if I'm going to be talking about this camera, I should probably make videos showing how to use it. And a few months in, when I started my channel and started the blog in 2015, I was doing all the things like on social, Facebook, Pinterest, and the blog and YouTube and Twitter. But YouTube was the thing that was taking off. It like instantly took off. And I logged in one day, I was like, oh, there's subscribers here. What does that mean? There's comments. It was like, I just saw it as a place to put videos. I didn't really think of it as a platform or like a way to grow an audience. Once I saw that there were people there, I was like, oh, there's like people waiting for me to show up with my YouTube videos every week. That's kind of nice. So I just doubled down on YouTube and eventually evolved into helping other people, with content creation, but like video specifically, because I didn't start out as an on-camera person. I didn't know how to talk to a camera. I didn't know what I was doing. And so it's been fun as I've evolved as a video brand, to help other people get started and evolve as a video brand. Because I think a lot of people think YouTube is like, everything has to be perfect. You have to know what you're doing. You have to have like a broadcast journalism degree or something. And you don't. All you have to do is like hit record and start talking. And as long as you're creating content that people are searching for and interested in, they'll find you. And it's a really fun way to connect with people online and grow a community. I think it's more fun than any of the other platforms out there. And really the algorithm is so powerful at people being able to find you.
Absolutely. It is a super powerful platform. So what types of businesses do you typically work with, or do you see do really well when they get into the YouTube game?
Mostly online businesses, like course creators, people with a program like a coaching program, or even services, or an offline business that could easily be online. People who are teaching something in person or running some type of a program in person or working with clients in person. A lot of things can just be online. It doesn't mean you have to like eliminate your in-person business, but you can generate some revenue that's a little bit more passive. It's not completely passive. It's still hard work. But it's mostly people who want to be in the online space so that they have a little bit more freedom with their time and not have to show up in person every day, everywhere.
Okay, awesome. So they're essentially looking to leverage the internet to generate lead sales for the business.
Exactly. Yes.
Awesome. So what's even the beginning steps? So we started ours back in our first YouTube channel around sort of the same time as you a long time ago. So it's been a long time since I've had to start one fresh.
Definitely start with long form content. I have to say that right up front because Shorts is relatively new on YouTube. It's really easy to assume that Shorts are going to take you less time, so you can create more of them, and it's a good way to get started. But YouTube hasn't even really figured out what a good Shorts strategy is for its own platform yet. And so if you have a business where you're generating leads, generating revenue, and you want to grow an audience and use the algorithm to bring people to you, long form content is still the key thing on YouTube, because YouTube wants people to come to YouTube and stay on YouTube. So just scrolling through Shorts it's not going to give people who find you a very good like a connection, right? If you watch a 6-minute video, you probably feel like you know me, you know my voice, you know my personality. If you watch a 60-second video and then move on, you watch 100 more of other videos, you have no idea who I am an hour later, right? So long form content for sure, 100% is, I think, where you should focus. And you can start with answering frequently asked questions that you get from your clients, your customers, your students, talking about topics that you even see other people maybe in your niche or industry not talking about. I feel like there's always questions that clients and customers have that they maybe haven't even thought to ask yet. And those are really great opportunities to create content on those kinds of topics where, your ideal customer is thinking, wow, are you reading my mind? Because then there's a connection there. It's, you're relatable, and it establishes credibility on your part that you know what you're talking about. So frequently asked questions. Of course, you can do keyword research. You can go the route of figuring out what are people searching for in your niche that there isn't a whole lot of competition for on YouTube. I think that's a little bit more of it. It sort of depends on your niche and how niched down you are as to how well that'll work right out of the gate. But when you don't really have an audience at all, the algorithm needs to bring people to you somehow. So that's where SEO comes in really handy. But it sort of only gets your foot in the door. And after that, you have to have, you can use your analytics in your YouTube channel to figure out what's working now on your channel. What are people watching the most of, so that you can create follow-up videos of those things. And the algorithm is like primed to bring you the same people back again, which then helps to prime more people that the algorithm identifies as, hey, we think this whole pocket of people is going to be interested in the Digital Trailblazer channel. And it just sort of snowballs after a while. So long form videos, yes, do some keyword research to figure out what are people searching for. And where I think people miss the concept of SEO is you have to create on topics that there isn't a lot of competition for. It's not just, oh, I want to rank for digital marketing. If it's your first video, like, okay, good luck, So how can you niche that down a little bit more and make it even more specific, digital marketing on YouTube or something even more specific than that you would need to go. Because you need to show up when other people aren't showing up, right? And so it's not just enough to know what people are searching for. It's finding those topics that, not a lot of people have covered this. And so you can hit that topic hard to make sure you show up there in the search results and then kind of branch out from there.
Absolutely. So do you have some specific tools that you like or recommend on evaluating that?
Yeah, there's some tools like vidIQ is a good tool, TubeBuddy. They work differently, but they kind of give you the same information. So I like vidIQ because you can pop in a keyword and it will give you a whole list of related topics. So all the time I go in there, I'm looking for keywords and I come out with like 10 different video topic ideas of completely different videos, which is great. Makes my job easy. But it also tells you, based on vidIQ's data, what the search volume is and what the competition is. So you're looking for, topics that have a relatively high search volume, but a low competition. And it really depends on your niche what's considered like high search volume. But anything over 1,000 for a brand new channel, if there's at least 1,000 people searching for it every month and it has low competition, that's like a golden ticket. You should definitely go after that topic.
I think that's something that people need to understand. It's not about volume. It's not about going viral. It's about getting in front of the right people at the right time.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. We recently had a video that really, I'm almost embarrassed to say how much it got because it was really low. But it had been out for a day. It was just a podcast, so I put a podcast episode out. I got it was at 28 views. 28 views. And we made $10,000 off that video.
Wow.
They were the right 28.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's not that you're going to be a YouTube influencer and you're going to get paid off of AdSense and you need to compete with Mr. Beast. This is these specific people who are looking for the answers that you have.
Exactly. Yeah. And, like, it's great that we have channels like Mr. Beast that brings people to YouTube. It makes YouTube a viable platform for marketers. And then we just get to capitalize on that and use it to market our businesses and reach more people. There's like 2.5 billion people on YouTube, thanks to Mr. Beast and others. But as a business owner, that Mr. Beast style content is not what we're creating. We're just answering questions, showing up with a solution, and then letting people know where to get more info, like where to work with us.
So what are some of your proudest moments, like working with your clients now and helping them build their channels?
I love it when somebody comes to me and they're like, I'm publishing every week. I think I'm doing everything right, but nothing's really happening. And most of the time there are super small tweaks they can make, not to their channel, but to the videos that they're creating, how they come up with the topics, what their thumbnails look like, how their titles are structured, that when we make those tweaks, it doesn't cost them any more time. They don't have to spend more time editing or planning. It's just these little tweaks when they upload and when they plan, that it's like the algorithm is primed to bring them people. You just have to tap into what the algorithm is already primed for on your channel. And you could do that with a few tweaks. So you could spend the same amount of time creating videos, but get more views, increase your subscribers. And if your channel is set up to generate leads, then you're going to generate leads, because it's really just a numbers game, right? So I have a client who just yesterday, she set up a YouTube funnel with a system that I taught her. It took her a few months to get it going. She has a channel, she has content, but making the leads and sales component of it, implement that on her channel, took her a couple of months. She wanted it to be perfect, like we all do. And she just messaged me yesterday. She had it up for 48 hours and she made her first sale, $200 yesterday, because she had the channel, she had the content, the algorithm was primed, and all she had to do was put up a way to generate those leads and sales. And so now it's just a numbers game for her to keep doing what she's doing, just keep creating that content and bringing in the audience, and the views turn into leads, which turn into sales.
So along those lines, because I've been through different YouTube programs and done different things within YouTube, and they're like, some people just don't push towards a lead magnet right away, push them to the next video. You want YouTube to hunt them down or to keep showing you their content, like the ratio of the call to actions and stuff. When we are there to generate leads for the business, that's clear. We're not there for entertainment purposes necessarily. What's the sweet spot, or how do you finagle that? I don't have a ratio of some people say every third video should, promote your lead magnet or your course or something. It's more about what makes sense for that video that you're creating right now. Sometimes the thing that makes the most sense is to send them, get the viewer to watch another one of your videos, which is a really positive signal to the algorithm. YouTube doesn't want people to go opt into your lead magnet. They would rather people didn't do that. We want people to do that. So for growth, for audience growth, you just want to send people to more of your videos and not send people to a lead magnet with every single one of your videos. So what I like to do is I teach my students to put a lead getter video at the top of their channel. So it's kind of like a billboard. So it's there at the top. Anyone who comes to your channel right off the bat, if they've just seen you for the first time, they go to your channel, it's right there at the top. They can watch the video. And in that video, you're essentially making the case for opting into my lead magnet. And, you're giving a little bit of content, but there's a lot of juicy messaging in there to make the case for, here's my lead magnet. And that way you can create videos that focus on just getting people to watch more of your videos and getting people
to go watch that lead getter video. So you're sort of like getting one more view out of people, which is a positive signal. You're not just sending people to your website with every one of your videos. And it's sort of, I think, the best of both worlds. So, because especially since in your videos, you can also seed your lead magnet without saying, okay, now your next step is go opt in. It's just, hey, if you don't know how that works, go watch the video that's pinned at the top of my channel, and I'll link to it in the description. And people can watch it if they want, or they can just go down the rabbit hole and binge the rest of your content. So there's definitely a sweet spot. You have to, I think, plan your videos ahead of time to know, where am I sending people? If you publish a video once a week, maybe every fourth video, you try to make a strong connection to your lead magnet, or not, because people will find it either way because it's pinned at the top of your channel.
So are you saying that so let's say a fourth video, they're pushing, there's a clear call to action to check out a lead magnet in the description or something. Those other 3 videos, are they pushing towards that teaser video?
They could push towards the teaser or just push towards another one of your videos.
Just a relevant video.
Yeah. And I think sometimes too, I like to look at in your analytics, you can tell, like, just do the math. YouTube will tell you that this particular video is actually getting people to hit subscribe at a higher rate than some of your other videos. So you could decide, you know what, let me just try and get people to that video. Let me create some content where the next obvious step would be go watch that other video. And you already know that it's getting people to at least convert to a subscriber, a channel subscriber. So you could do the same thing with, if you have a video that this converts, my lead magnet converts from this particular video, even if you didn't necessarily engineer it that way, you can create content that you deliberately are using to drive more and more views to that video. So if you just have to think about, what is your objective? And of course you want leads, of course you want sales, but you have to create a community and like get the algorithm to be promoting your content in order to make that happen. So you kind of have to use your analytics like a crystal ball to figure out what actually makes sense for where to send people.
Yeah, absolutely. I know when we really started digging into the advanced analytics within YouTube, it was a big light bulb moment on what we could really do versus like, oh, there's that advanced mode. Like, we had never clicked that button for years. And then someone showed us, and we're like, holy cow, we're missing a lot without looking here. There's a lot of great data. So for all of this, what has this been able to do even in your own business?
One of the things that I am most excited about in my business when it comes to YouTube, I used to do the traditional like launch, rinse, repeat process for my programs and courses and my membership. And early last year, I thought, why am I doing that? Like, YouTube is constantly sending me traffic, constantly sending me views. It's constantly sending me leads. So why can't I make it constantly send me sales? Why do I have to do a 5-day challenge or a webinar or something? Why can't I just make consistent revenue? And so basically I took what I knew about launching a course or program and all of the messaging and sales stuff and mashed it together with what I knew about YouTube strategy and audience retention and keeping people watching your videos. And I just sort of mashed them together. So I created a YouTube funnel, and I've been teaching other people how to set it up, because launching or promoting a program like once a quarter is time consuming, and it's also energy draining. Even if you have a team helping you like implement all of it, it's still energy drain, even though it can be fun. too. And so I thought, let's get some revenue generating consistently, and then maybe not do a quarterly launch, maybe do a once a year thing, or like do whatever, because it now frees up your time and energy to think about something other than, okay, when's our next launch? Because you have to plan the launch stuff, and then you have to actually fulfill on whatever it is that you launched, and then you also have to be creating weekly YouTube videos.
Yeah, on top of all that. Good luck.
And like I said, even if you have a team, it's still a lot of stuff to like keep track in your brain. So I think that's probably the thing that I've been proudest of last year, setting that up in a way that is repeatable. I sort of have a thing for, like, it's not good enough for something to work for me. I want to create something that works for other people too. So I did a lot of experimenting to get it to a place where I was like, okay, this works for me. Now I can teach it to other people. And now other people are implementing it and getting sales from it. And it's been really fun because it's sort of adaptable to whatever your niche is and whatever like your sales mechanism is or whatever your offer is.
So walk us through that. What is this like evergreen YouTube-based funnel essentially look like?
Yeah, so there's 5 steps to it. You, of course, have to have a YouTube channel, obviously. So you have to have some content on your channel, and you have to really plan to make content. It's not the same as running an ad where, you know, you set it up and then you just kind of like throw money at it. You're constantly creating content, adding to your channel, adding value to your channel, and creating those assets. So you have to have the channel. You have to have some type of an offer, obviously, in order to sell your offer. And so like on one end, you've got this channel. On this other end, you've got this offer, and you got to get people over there. So the 3 steps in between are having a lead getter video at the top of your channel. And then instead of sending people to like, go download this PDF that you're never going to open or look at ever again, and you may not even actually download it, or instead of sending people to a 60-minute webinar that is not live, and it's just like, I just came from YouTube where I'm watching 10, 15-minute videos, and now I'm going to watch a 60-minute video. Maybe, but is there a better way? So the better way is to create what is essentially kind of like a shortened webinar where you don't have to spend time building your authority and your know, like, and trust and all that stuff, because you did that on YouTube. They found you through YouTube. You have a lot of messaging in your lead getter video. They're just there for a micro transformation. Like in my video, I call it a secret video. I'm teaching you how to create 3 months worth of content in the same amount of time it would normally take you to create 1. Because time creating content is the number one objection that people have to YouTube.
And that's why we haven't been nurturing our channel like we should.
Yeah. So I have this juicy secret video, and that's what you're opting in for. I'm not giving you a download. I'm just giving you a video. You just have to opt in to get to it. And then when you have that in place and you have an offer that you know converts, which I think is sort of, it's almost like an invisible component that people either don't know about or they forget about. If you have a place, a sales call or an email sequence or something where you know, if I can just get people there, they convert to a sale, then you just line everything up to get people there. So that's what the channel does and the lead getter. And once they're there and it converts, it converts. So the last component then is creating YouTube content that attracts that right person, that you know, if I get these people there, they're going to convert at whatever percent it converts at. So those are kind of the 5 components, and they all sort of work together. And it's the way that I like to have people think about it is YouTube is not just to grow your audience. If you can't get people into some type of a sales system in some way, the audience, it doesn't benefit your business at all. Like, it might be fun and it might feel good to have a channel, people watch your videos, but if you're building a business, you have to generate those leads and sales.
Yeah, 100%. So let me make sure that we got this super clear for everybody. So kind of worked your way backwards from the offer, but if we let's work our way forwards, make sure everyone understands. So we've got content that's going to build the know, like, and trust, and it's going to lead people to the lead getter video, which is your channel video at the top, right? When people opt into that channel video, instead of a PDF, they get a secret video, which is a really shortened version of a webinar, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
And so a lot of folks who are watching this are probably selling high ticket, or they're selling on sales calls. So the sell on that video then is to book a call.
Yes. If that's what you need to get people to, where you know they convert, then yes, you can have them book a call. If you have like my offer that I have in one of my funnels is $147. So I'm just sending them to a sales page.
Okay. So low ticket, you can just sell right on that because you've built up the authority there. It's not the first interaction with you because they've come through a few other videos.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're able to cut to the chase. So are you making that secret video like the same average length as your other videos?
The secret video for my 30 days to a thriving YouTube channel funnel is, I think, 27 minutes.
Okay.
So it's longer. That is longer than a typical YouTube video for me, but it's not like 60 to 90 minutes. And like I always sort of laugh when I hear people say, especially people who do a lot of short form content, and they're like, I can't get people to stay at my 60-minute webinar. And I'm like, you attracted them with 15-second videos.
Right.
Like, why? Do you see the disconnect? So I think that's was I think for me, the missing component of how to get YouTube to generate leads and sales consistently was, well, let's just make the leads and sales part of the equation very similar to the YouTube part of the equation. Instead of going from a 10-minute video to a 60-minute webinar, let's go from a 6-minute video to a 27-minute video. And the gap there is smaller, so it's like it fits that viewer's attention span.
I can see even just some tweaks that probably a lot of folks, if they've been on YouTube for a while like us, like they've got pieces of this, they could just rearrange a couple little arrows, if you will, and get it going. So that's awesome. So for people who haven't played around on the analytics, what are some really good analytics that you should understand about your content or your channel as a whole to help you grow and get it to where you want it to be ultimately?
Okay, I love analytics. This is my favorite thing. So if you think about, you need to have people find your videos. And so if you're getting any views at all, then obviously people are finding your videos somehow. But once they find your video, they need to actually click on it and hit play. So your click-through rate, or in your analytics, it would be called your impressions click-through rate, is a really important number to improve. And I think for anyone listening who is like, oh, I'm going to open up my analytics right now and look at my click-through rate, you're probably going to say, well, what's a good click-through rate? Right? YouTube says, I think they say somewhere between 2 and 12% is considered a good click-through rate, but that's a huge gap for a click-through rate. So I like to think if you have less than 2%, you should probably definitely work on improving your click-through rate. If you can go from 1 to 2, then you've doubled. If you double your click-through rate, you double your views. But if you're like coming in at 4 or 5, doubling that is going to be really hard. Well, I should say it depends on your channel, depends on your niche, depends on what you have going on, but it's probably going to be difficult to go from like 4 to 8. So the game for the click-through rate is just improving on your own metrics. But YouTube gives you like these little indicators. So when you go in, you might have like a gray down arrow next to your, I think they call it your latest video performance box right in the back end of YouTube. A gray down arrow is just YouTube saying, hey, this is performing less than what would normally be typical for you. And then a green check mark means you're doing pretty good. And then a green up arrow means you're doing better than what is considered normal. So you almost like don't really have to wonder, is this good or bad? It's kind of telling you if it's, good or, I don't want to say bad, but like needs improvement. And so the click-through rate kind of comes down to the thumbnail and the title and how they work together to, make your video look really intriguing. Like, I want to click on that. I want to watch that. So the click-through rate definitely is something to look at, and also your average percentage viewed, or even YouTube gives us the metric of the retention of the first 30 seconds of the video. So if people are dropping off, that they're clicking play and they're saying, nope, this isn't what I want to watch, and they're going to go watch something else, which just tells YouTube this must be a bad video. So you can have really valuable content in the middle of your video, but if people don't get there, then YouTube wouldn't know that. And those things are really easily fixable. Next time you create a YouTube video, ask yourself, how can I tighten up the beginning? How can I use a hook and make it actually sound interesting, enticing to make somebody go, oh, I better stick around and watch this. And then over time, you'll kind of learn what works for you and your content. And when you raise your average view duration, people are spending more time on your videos, and that's what YouTube wants. So YouTube has an incentive to get your video out to more people because your videos are helping keep people on the platform.
So I know back when we were hitting YouTube hard, we spent a lot of time on having a really clickable title and a really clickable thumbnail. Do you have any insights or tips on how for folks to focus on that? Why even, and then how to make them better?
What I like to do with my thumbnails and titles is make the title really clear with a little bit of a punch. So, maybe capitalize one word, or, use words like, finally, a way to, grow your email list in 1 minute a day or something like that. I don't know, I'm just making that up. But like give it a little bit of a punch, but make it really clear. What is this topic? And if you are optimizing for SEO, your keywords should be towards the beginning of the title. So if your title is clear with a little bit of a punch to make it a little bit interesting, then the thumbnail just needs to get people's attention. So the words in your thumbnail should be kind of big and chunky, if you have any words at all. So like no scripty fonts, nothing like that. Minimal amount of words, really, because you're just getting people's attention. So like the thumbnail gets the viewer's attention, the title gets pure viewers' interest, and then together they create that intrigue of, oh, I have to watch this. Arrows work really well in thumbnails. If you're talking about something and you're showing it in the image, if you can throw an arrow pointing to it, make it a bright color like red or yellow. Pointing to things in your thumbnails are also really good. And you don't even really have to put yourself in your thumbnail. It's really about getting the attention. So whatever's going to make somebody's eyeballs go to that, then they look at the title and now they're like, oh, I am actually interested in this.
So with the focus on helping businesses and their analytics, I've learned from other YouTube people who are more on the entertainment side of YouTube, and they really push, looking at your traffic sources for the views that you're getting? And is it, is it search, or is it YouTube suggested, and where is it coming from, and understanding that? Do you have any thoughts around that when it comes to doing this from a business perspective?
I have thoughts on it. But I don't know what direction to go in it whenever I get this question, because it's not like you can just decide, well, I'm getting search traffic today. Tomorrow I want to get traffic from browse features, which is YouTube homepage. So I'm just going to like magically do something different tomorrow to like get that traffic. So one thing to remember is there's more people watching YouTube videos than there are searching. So like, yes, YouTube is a significant search platform. The search algorithm is really powerful. It's really great to tap into when you're first getting started. But there are more people watching videos than are searching. So you're sort of capped at the number of searches that are happening on the platform. So if you can get if you have a really good clickable title, like a juicy topic, clickable title, attention-worthy thumbnail, then you have a better chance of showing up on the YouTube homepage, which is browse features in your analytics. And so that just means YouTube is like, oh, Leah is logged into YouTube right now. We think she'd like to see all of these videos, and it puts them all in front of you based on your viewer behavior. And that's a really good signal for you to know, oh, this video is doing something, because it's like YouTube has been able to identify who it's really for, who is the target audience. And if it continues to get views from the homepage, then YouTube is like, we've identified this pocket of people, this type of viewer with this type of viewer behavior. And it makes YouTube's job really easy. We just have to throw it on people's homepages and it will get views, and that benefits YouTube. So your titles and your thumbnails have to be really clickable and really juicy to make that happen, versus if you are going after search, they have to be very clear and very it has to be really obvious. If I'm searching for something, if I'm looking at your title and thumbnail, I'm not going to click on it if I don't think I'm going to get the answer, right? So it has to be, oh, you're searching for this? Okay, here's the title and thumbnail that says, here's how you get the answer to that. So there's that. And the other good metric to look at is suggested, which is where you show up in the sidebar on YouTube, or if you're on a mobile app, it shows up below. And so it's similar to the homepage in that it's the algorithm identifying the user, based on your viewing behavior. We think we're going to predict what you might like to watch next. And again, if you're getting suggested, okay, the algorithm, I did a good job at helping the algorithm know who this video is for. So those are kind of the three things that I like to look at. If you're sending traffic from a Facebook group or something, it's really hard for the algorithm to know, who else am I supposed to put this video in front of? Because maybe the people are watching it and they're not even logged in. So there's no prior user behavior for the algorithm to put that person in a bucket and know, oh, I can put that video in front of more people in that bucket. So like I said, I don't know how to answer that question, because it's not like you can just turn on browse features. I want to show up in browse features today. Okay, you have to sort of study what's working, study what you see showing up on your homepage. And you'll probably notice that the thumbnails are very striking usually. They're very interesting. There's usually colors. And the topics themselves are juicy and interesting and ooh, I have to click that. They're like magazine headlines, or, when you're standing there and you see the tabloid headlines, we know that is probably completely made up, but it makes you look at it and go, oh, really? Did that actually happen? And, some people fall for it. On YouTube, you want to actually deliver that juicy thing. because people are going to go, "What is that? Is that right? I got to click this and watch it."
So for schedule, because business owners in particular, we have everything we have to do to run the business. We've got all the other sales activities and things that are currently going on and lead gen activities currently going on. Now we're talking about adding YouTube, right? Realistically, or optimally even, whichever makes sense to answer, or both, what should we be aiming for a schedule?
For a schedule, like posting schedule?
Frequency.
I think once a week is a good cadence. But like ultimately, if you have a brand new channel, your goal should be to just fill your channel with, create a library of binge-worthy content. So if you have 5 videos you've been working on and they're all ready to go, publish them all if you want, or schedule them out once a week for 5 weeks and, give yourself a chance to catch up on your next batch of videos. But like ongoing, I think once a week is a good cadence. But I always hesitate to say that because if someone listening is like, well, I can't do once a week, so I'm just not going to do it. If you can do once a month and that's all you can do, it's better than nothing, So that's kind of the way that I look at it. I don't think there is like a hard and fast rule because you're not creating entertainment content, because sometimes I hear like, well, look at TV shows. They're on every Wednesday at 9 p.m. So we should emulate that. Well, but we're not a TV show. We're not here for entertainment. There's no TV guide with our, listing in it.
Yeah.
Do people even get the TV guide anymore?
I don't know.
Probably not. So showing up at least once a week, I think is just it's a good rhythm, anyway, to connect with people once a week. And doing that with a YouTube video, which you could repurpose it into an email or a blog post or whatever. I think that's a good place to start.
So if people are short on time, if they could commit to maybe regular, recorded, edited, more polished videos every 2 weeks or once a month or something, would it make sense to fill in and do some live streaming in between if they were able to do a regular schedule for that?
I think it depends. Depends on your niche. It depends on your channel. If it makes sense to you, then it makes sense. There's a lot of channels that all they do is live streaming. But what I see is it's hard to get traction on those videos long term because it's not edited. So what is the watch time doing? What is the retention doing? Are people really sticking around and watching the whole replay? It's got to be really interesting and really compelling to watch a replay of something that's live. And also, too, I've heard of people that do a live and they're just kind of thinking out loud. They use it sort of as a live brainstorming session and then take the live, tighten it up into a script, record a YouTube video, and publish a YouTube video from it. So you're kind of doing 2 things there, benefiting from both. And I could see something like that happening. But there's still a lot of time that goes into putting a live together. For me, I would have to be prepared with some kind of an outline. And that's time that you could have spent just outlining a regular YouTube video and recording a YouTube video.
I know when Todd and I were doing it, we were probably spending 16 hours on a video. It was a lot. And we can jump on a live and I can go, give me 5-minute prep and I'm ready to rock for a live.
Yeah. And the thing is, if those lives work, if they bring you leads and they generate sales, then don't make YouTube videos. Just do the lives, Right. You really have to look at ultimately what is your ultimate goal. Don't be like, well, Meredith said don't do lives. If it works, then it works. Just do it. Meredith is saying do what works. So for me, a live is I might as well just make a regular video because I'd have to be prepared and it would probably take me an hour to do the live stream because I'll probably go off topic. And do what works for you.
Yeah, I think what we've come to is, or we've settled on, not that it's best practice in any way, but until we have the bandwidth to produce good content that we continue to stream regularly. We get our podcast out to the audience constantly, but that the streaming is more for just audience development, for not necessarily reaching new people.
Yeah.
Being able to nurture the people who found us in other ways, and to keep them in our sphere as we're hopefully soon getting back into the good polished, so much effort ones. Awesome. Well, this has been such a fun conversation. To the level that you're comfortable, brag on yourself for a minute. Like, what have you been able to accomplish with this? What have your clients been able to accomplish with this?
If I were to brag, and really if there's anything that I want somebody to take away from my journey as a YouTube creator, online business owner, it's what I said at the beginning, which is you don't have to have some big following to generate enough revenue to live off of. I do think that having, going for revenue streams you have the most control over are where I would say invest your time. And that's something I did last year. I did this whole video about last year. My channel and really my business was kind of tanking a little bit because I had all these revenue streams like affiliate marketing. And there was a couple of affiliate programs that just decided we're not doing this anymore. And okay, so there goes a couple of revenue streams. And then, YouTube AdSense is great, but YouTube can decide, we're not going to pay you anymore. They have this funky little bug called the invalid traffic bug that just randomly hits channels, and somehow YouTube system decides that it thinks that you're sending invalid traffic to ads to like benefit you,
like bots.
And it's happening to a lot of people that aren't doing that. Like, I mean, you could just take my word for it. I'm not doing that, but somehow the system flagged me as doing that. So if I had been relying on AdSense revenue for like 6 weeks, it was down to almost nothing. It was like the graph was an actual cliff. It went from money to no money overnight. And so I put all of my focus and energy into my own products and programs because I have the most control over that. I control the prices. I control what I create when I create it. And when your own products are your revenue stream, it doesn't matter how big your audience is. It doesn't matter if you have a silver play button or a gold play button, or if you only get 28 views on a video. It doesn't matter because those metrics really aren't tied to those revenue streams.
Yeah. And I think, years ago, we actually demonetized most of our videos actually on our channel because we're like, no, we can do more with this traffic than the AdSense pennies we're going to be potentially getting for it. So, we keep our people. Yeah, absolutely. I think being able to use it to get the traffic, get the nurture, do those different things, but then use it to sell your stuff and build your business versus relying on these platforms it's great if they're paying you, but I wouldn't, go get a mortgage or something hoping on that right. Continuing.
Yeah, exactly.
So if there was one final tip that you want to leave with the audience, what would that be?
You don't have to be a professional to make videos on YouTube, and you don't have to have a professional setup. And you don't have to know what you're doing because you can learn along the way. I think actually learning how to talk to a camera, show up on camera, building a video brand is the best way to build your audience. And if you're going to do online business, it's obvious to me that it should be on video. It should be on camera because that's, it's the most human to human interaction that you can have besides a human to human interaction. I have a Crush It on Camera guide that I think you have the link to on setup, like your lights, your mic, your camera, how to set up a space. I like to call it a YouTubical space. So that you have everything set up. You can just hit record and you don't have these hurdles like, oh, I got to record a video. Well, I got to set up my camera and I got to get my lighting and got to plug in my microphone and make it all work. You just set it up and you leave it and you create a little YouTubical for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay if it looks bad and sounds bad at first. We all start there. Nobody's born knowing how to talk to a camera.
No, and you'll never get good if you don't do it enough times while you suck. Like, you just have to keep going through it to get to where you can be good. So, absolutely. Well, this has been so much fun. I really appreciate you, Meredith.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
You've been listening to the Digital Trailblazer podcast. For show notes and information about today's guest, head to digitaltrailblazer.com. Now, if you love this episode, if you got some value, make sure you leave us a review and subscribe. And be sure to share this episode with anyone you know who could use help to build their business. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.